Call the meeting to order. Ask you to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item tonight is a special presentation of the Don C. Guggemos Award. Just a little information, background on that award. The Don C. Guggemos Senior Community Service Award was created to recognize students, residents, businesses, organizations in the city of Winsted who have demonstrated a commitment to civic participation and/or volunteer service. Service can be done in a variety of ways to meet community needs and benefit individuals, groups, or society in general. This award is meant to recognize the unsung heroes who make our community a better place to live. My honor this evening to present awards in the following categories. We have an individual award, organization category, and we also have a business category. First award we'll do is the individual category, and that's Nicholas Milners. Nick Milners is a highly involved Winsted community member who makes significant contributions through his time and his actions. He volunteers with several town organizations and events such as the Winsted Arts Council, the Winsted Summer Festival, and the Woodstock Country Music Festival. Nick serves as a role model in his leadership and volunteer roles with youth baseball and football programs in the area. With care and service to the young people he works with, he also has demonstrated a compassion for members of the community by organizing a card campaign for residents of the Gardens of Winsted and assisting with the art cleanups. This community has benefited by his example and character. Congratulations, Nick.
In front of what?
Next award is the organization category. Stay active and independent for life, otherwise known as SAIL. The SAIL program is an exercise class that is offered to the aging population in Winsted and the surrounding communities. This program aims to improve quality of life through exercise and socialization as more men and women are living longer. The instructors are highly dedicated to this program, volunteering multiple hours of their time to the citizens every week and motivating them to live an active lifestyle. This program serves the community's welfare greatly by improving mental health and overall well-being. The SAIL program is a very beneficial asset to the Winsted community, and we commend the instructors on all of their hard work and kindness. Congratulations. So, SAIL members.
We'll surround him.
Yeah, do you want to be sandwiched? Why not? Okay, time to everyone. Yeah.
All right. And you also get
Okay, dovetail. All right.
a couple.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
There you go. Thank you.
We'll see you in class.
Oh. I'm old or what?
No. Hey.
You're in need.
Yeah, there you are.
Class, I'm not taking.
You'll love it.
Thinks he's too old to learn.
You know, offhand, do you know how many people attend?
The last item to
Oh, hold on.
Sorry.
There was 112 the last
Tom
time.
asked.
112?
Signed up.
But normally 55.
That's still a lot.
Yeah, that's great.
We have
Yeah, every Monday, every Friday.
Well, thank you.
Good.
It's a blast.
The business category is Kevin E. Drug. Kevin E. Drug is a staple in the Winsted community. They have been an advocate for local drugstores, having been working towards getting small businesses in line with larger stores. such as CVS for prescription drugs. The additional feature of their created or crafted gifts and decor items are another added benefit for local shoppers in the area. They also foster community engagement by having a number of specialty shopping events throughout the year. Kevney Drug is a valuable resource to the Winston community, and we congratulate them for their service.
To be a part of this community.
If anybody who wants to leave, this is the right time to do it before we get going to the rest of the meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tonight's consent agenda consists of the following items. Item A, approval of minutes, City Council work session, March 19th. City Council regular meeting, March 19th. Plan Commission minutes, September 18th. I'm going to remove item B tonight and pick that up at a later date, so we'll move on to item C. Approve the purchase of 5 Glock 45 MOS handguns and related equipment in an amount not to exceed $4,000 from the Tactical Advantage, and approve the purchase of 1 Colt Commando CR 6933 EPR rifle and related equipment in an amount not to exceed $2,500 from Phoenix Distributors. Item D, approve a special event permit authorize the Winston Police Chief or designee to close a portion of Main Avenue through traffic on Wednesday, April 24th, 2024, in conjunction with the rededication of the Winston Post Office. Item C, adopt Resolution R-24-11 to accept donations from various donors to be dedicated towards the 2024 Winston Police Department Bike Rodeo event. Item F, approve the claims list for April 2nd, 2024. That's the consent agenda. Looking for a motion to approve.
Mr. Mayor, a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Under new business tonight, Resolution R-24-12, Grass Lake Farm. Neil?
Yeah, so as part of the Grass Lake Farm and our TIF agreement, Winston Leased Housing has asked us to become a pass-through for a grant application that they're applying for. Basically, for the city, it doesn't have a big effect on us. We are already having the TIF match in there for the $3 million plus. So really, all they need is, they can't apply for it directly. They're doing all the legwork for it. We're helping them check off some of the boxes. But other than that, we are on the hook for exactly what we've already agreed to, which is that TIF financing.
Any questions?
So this just is a grant application, doesn't change the status of the housing itself, anything like that.
Nope, this changes nothing. It's really, it's done through the workforce part of it. So part of the things that Mr. Tisk and Winston Leased Housing has to do is come up with letters of support from businesses saying, yes, this will really help our businesses because Winston needs more housing.
Sure.
Any other questions for Neil before we look for a motion? If not,
I'd make a motion to adopt Resolution R-24-12, authorizing the City of Winsted and the Winsted Leased Housing LLC to enter into a deferred loan agreement for a project pursuant to the Workforce Housing Development Program in order to obtain funding from Minnesota Housing Finance Agency.
we have a motion. We have a second.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next item is our department report. Tonight it's the police department. Chief?
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, thank you for having me.
The last time I reported would have been November 8th of last year. And my reports are basically stuff outside of the regular police duties we do. So it's a lot of training related, meeting related, but gives a little more insight to what we do other than just traffic enforcement and education and responding to calls. So starting last November, we held our annual reviews in the police department. I conduct the reviews for the 3 officers with information gathered from other city employees, and then City Administrator Schlegel does my review. Officers attended standardized field sobriety testing training in Glencoe. Every couple of years, we have to recertify we call it the SFSTs, but what it is field sobriety testing. So we train on our skills to determine impaired driving. We attended the annual staff meeting at Security Bank and Trust. We've been doing that for a number of years now, probably close to a dozen years. So once a year, we get together with staff at the bank and just go over some protocols. And more importantly, it's to get to know each other better. I attended training through the Minnesota Chiefs Police Association, and we provided department tours to various preschool classes and local Cub Scouts in November. In December, officers attended annual training at the McLeod County Sheriff's Office. So most of our training, our annual training, is done through them, whether it be defensive tactics, OC spray, taser, less than lethal. We attend training with them. We assisted with the Winter Festival Parade, participated in the Accident Review Safety Committee meeting, and we also held a staff meeting with the entire city staff that day. January, our officers all attend our medical training, EMR and EMT. So EMR is an emergency medical responder. We have 2 emergency medical responders on the police department and 2 EMTs. Myself and Officer Lammers are EMTs. We again have that training coming up here on May 1st, and that's held at the fire hall. We've been doing that for a number of years, but it's so important, especially I'll get to our annual report. But to train with our fire department is really an important thing, and that relationship is great. I attended the city goal setting retreat in January, and also attended a Toward Zero Death meeting and a mock crash meeting. So Toward Zero Death, if you recall years ago, Safe and Sober, if you ever remember seeing signs around town about Safe and Sober, it's through the Department of Public Safety. It's now called Toward Zero Death because that is the goal of our road safety. And we're planning, I'm part of the coalition in McLeod County, and we're planning a mock crash here in coming up soon. Officer Couturier attended impaired operation traffic safety training in Albert Lee. Moving to February, Officer Lammers attended another leadership training series at the Minnesota BCA in St. Paul. I was lucky enough to get into into the Holy Trinity school again this year. And in February, I was able to teach 2 DARE lessons to the 5th and 6th grade combined class. Officer Moonen attended the Data Master training at the BCA. That's an important training. So the Data Master is actually the device down at the jail that if you're arrested or somebody's arrested for impaired driving with alcohol, you provide your sample into that machine. And it's actually a pretty difficult class to go through. There's a lot of math equations and procedures that they have to follow for that. So Officer Moonen has attended that and been certified with that. Myself and Officer City Administrator Schlegel attended meeting with representatives of the City of Lester Prairie to discuss police services. I attended a county investigator meeting. Officer Lammers generally attends that as well. I attended emergency risk protection order training. That's the new ERPO. Is the abbreviation, but it's when you hear red flag law. I know that was big in the last legislative session. I attended training for that because Minnesota did pass laws regarding that. And that training was put on through the Sheriff's Association, the Chiefs Police Association, the Sheriff's Association. One represents the sheriffs, one's the chiefs, but they work really good with training. They put on great trainings, so we are able to attend each other's trainings. Officer Couturier provided a safety talk at the police department and a police department tour for a local Girl Scout troop. And in February 2023, Ford Explorer arrived and was put into service with our new graphics scheme that was approved by the council back in 2022. March, I taught 1 DARE lesson at Holy Trinity to the same 5th and 6th grade class. Officers attended night firearms qualification shoot, which this year was an exception. It was dry and balmy and no mosquitoes and beautiful. Usually in March, it's very wet, snowy and cold. So it was a unique time to do that. We assisted with the Knights of Columbus Fish Fry at the Blue Note. Officers attended active shooter training hosted by the McLeod County Sheriff's Office. That was actually last week. And that's an extensive training that was at, I believe it's Lakeside School in Silver Lake. So during spring break, we're able to utilize our school and go through various scenarios in response to active shooter. Officer Lammers attended last Tuesday the fraud awareness presentation at the American Legion, where we were there with the McLeod County Sheriff's Office detective, and it was put on by a group that will actually be holding another session, I believe, at the end of the month. So that is what we have done since last November, other than our regular duties. I just wanted to hit a little bit on, I did pass out a copy of our activities report in the police department. This year that was put together by Madison Feeke. She also does part-time clerical work for the police department. She did a very good job on that. A couple of notes I'll highlight in the report was for 2023, we had 36 reported accidents, and that is quite a few compared to years past, you'll see. We had one DWI only. Some of these numbers will be skewed somewhat because, as you know, we were half-staffed for a number of months of the year. We had 51 animal complaints, which was up from 13 in 2022. We had 11 physical arrests. Now, that's an important one to note. There's been a shift for a number of years. COVID was a big influence in it, and just the way things are handled on the criminal justice side of things. But just because somebody doesn't get arrested doesn't mean they don't get charged with a crime. The vast majority of incidents and matters we handle through investigation are handled through what's called a formal complaint, which is a formal charging document that basically summons somebody to court on a certain date and time. And that's in lieu of arrest. Obviously, there's things we do arrest for. If you're stopped for DWI, you'll generally be arrested for DWI. Although, an example of not being arrested for DWI a couple weeks ago, I had a matter I was investigating where, there's search warrant and blood samples. So until those results are back, that person is in charge with the crime. Now, if it's an in-progress incident like a domestic assault, then we generally do arrest for that. But that physical arrest number is not indicative of what we are investigating or dealing with. 122 citations were issued in 2023. We issued 567 verbal warnings, which, if I did my math correctly, I believe we issue about 50 out of our traffic stops. It's about 15% of the time we issue a citation, if I did that math right. I did go to Lester Prairie, so I do apologize if I'm wrong. 21 theft-related calls in 2021. That is not scams. You see there's a separate one for scams. This is the one I noted earlier. We had responded to 229 medicals in 2023. We were at 216 medicals in 2022. In my time here, this is a record high, and those are only increasing. I don't know when the fire department gives their report, but I know their numbers were way up as well. That's a lot of medicals. And we do pride ourselves. I know I do. I know my officers do on doing stuff at medicals, and that may sound a little... what do you mean by that? Well, what I mean by that is two of us are EMTs and the rest of us are EMRs. And when we're on medicals, our goal is to provide care to that patient until that ambulance gets there, and it's just a smooth handoff. There is no break in that care. The city does a very good job on training its emergency staff, and we're very lucky to have the first responders and fire department we have. And I know our police officers see it the same way. Last note on the PD report is our vulnerable adult investigations. That one since I've been in this position, I've always noted, and it's always in that 20, it fluctuates, 20, 25 investigations. Sometimes there can be no investigation, but Officer Lammers right now has 2 of them on his plate that have been going on since December, and it's usually the financial exploitation of a vulnerable adult is the fancy word for basically stealing from your loved one. But those investigations are very time consuming. A lot of subpoena search warrants, getting paperwork and putting the case together for charging. And ultimately they're very
sad to deal with, as you can imagine, but.
What's the definition of a vulnerable adult?
Yep.
Where I went with it was special needs. It's not.
It can be.
necessarily-
Yep, it can be, or it's somebody, now what we're seeing more of is people with diminished mental. So essentially, let's say a power of attorney,
Like, wow.
I don't put labels, but the courts do. No, but it, we're all going to get to a point in our life if we live long enough to where we do rely on other people to make decisions for us, to pay our bills, to make sure the nursing home's paid, our medicals or bills are paid, taxes are paid, and that doesn't always happen the way it should. And then we have a lot of great partners, whether it be banks, financial institutions, hospitals, clinics, doctors, nurses, that work together to look out for these folks. And then that's how the reports are made. Mental health calls are on the rise. I know I mentioned that last year as well, but the severity, I guess, or severity is the word I'll use, seems to be increasing, where these calls, can take turns, and you see it in the news as well. But that's true. I mean, these can become violent quicker, it seems like, which is unfortunate. But there are resources that are not law enforcement, and we will come anytime you call. But McLeod County has a crisis. McLeod County Crisis Line. Their phone number is 320-864-2713. So if you don't want to see me or one of my officers, I understand that. I get that. But there's also help out there, and we have flyers and pamphlets at the City Hall that you can pick up if you want that. Or if you want to talk to us, we're more than happy to come and just chat too. Please use extra caution when driving around the schools during pickup and drop off. I know I mentioned that a lot, but the last thing we want is an accident to happen or a kiddo to get hit. Winter parking ban is over as of 2 nights ago. And reminder that we do, though, have a 72-hour limit for trailer, boat, camper parking on the street. And it's not, our streets are not for storage. And we don't, long-term storage on the street will cause damage. Street sweepers can't get through. There are obstruction issues. I am also Madison and I have set up an aging driving seminar. So it's through the TZD, Towards Zero Death Coalition. It's paid through that. But a nurse, she has a fancy title, and I apologize for not having it in front of me, but she specializes in aging driving. And she's going to put together a seminar here on May 16th at 2 o'clock. I have a posting up on the bulletin board, and I'm going to go throughout the community and hand out a flyer regarding this, but we will have refreshments, and it'll be down here in the Volmer room and 2 o'clock on May 16th. And the bike rodeo, Officer Lammers for a number of years has put that on. It's a very good turnout. Jim does a great job on that. It'll be May 22nd at the Winston Elementary School. Makeup day will be that Thursday. So if anyone has any questions, let me know.
It's a lot of stuff.
Do you think the medicals are increased because our
I do.
pretty big fact?
Yep. You hear sirens a lot.
Mhm.
And that we are very fortunate though to have the crews we do. And I know, Jeff, you're on you go attend the fire meetings, and that's a dedicated group. And we're, I'm a police officer, not a fireman, never was, no family of a fireman. I'll give them grief along with the rest of the boys in blue, but we're lucky to have them.
Well, thank you for everything you do.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank your staff.
Absolutely. Got a very good group.
We've come to the open forum section of the meeting. If anybody wants to ask the questions or have comments for the council, step up to the podium, state your name and address.
Yeah, my name's Clyde Weibel. I live at 321st Street North, and had an incident 2 weeks ago with a truck idling across the street from my house. I didn't sleep much that weekend, and I thought that problem was taken care of years ago. And I don't like to complain, but that's when I don't get no sleep. I'm not a very nice person.
What's the problem specifically?
The trucks sit there and idle all weekend long, and with the new depth that they have to do when the truck, the engine, it's called regeneration. The truck idles faster and it gets a lot louder and it echoes in there really bad.
These are trucks delivering cheese or picking?
No, that's whatever they're doing. They just show up early and just think they can sit there. I mean, they sit right across the street from my house sometimes overnight,
On the street.
on the street. And that's even worse than them parking there, but it's just,
And I think they run because they're refrigerated reefers, so,
no, they got a separate thermal motor just for that
yeah.
on the trucks, but that's just for them to stay warm because they're sleepers.
Oh, okay.
Where they could be parking out there at K-Way. If they're not, because there's no reason for them to be there. They're not getting loaded, nothing's happening.
So they're just waiting for the morning so they can get in.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's annoying, because I know my uncle next door, he's hardly ever there now. Of course, he's a Wisconsin citizen. And I don't know about the Rassets. I think they've been gone for the last 2 weeks. But it's just where my bedroom sits, it's like an echo chamber there.
Chief, could you, have your guys make a note of that?
They've been watching it. I called them.
Thank you.
Yeah, but this is, I mean, this happened before. There's 2 posts that are either side of that driveway in there that were put in by the creamery. It was Mid-Am 40 years ago, and they were supposed to put a cable across there to keep vehicles from parking there overnight. Because my dad made a big scene about it. No, that I know there was before.
So I think, where we'll go from here, I guess, and obviously Chief Helt's looking into it and all that good stuff, but I think what I'll do is I'll just reach out to K-Way and I'll just ask them. We'll start with that because that's the easiest method and see what they have to say and go from there.
Because there's no reason for him to be there the whole weekend.
Sure. And I don't know, I have no idea, on their business side of it, but maybe he doesn't know and maybe it'll be fine. I'll just reach out to him and
Okay, well,
we'll start with that, right? It's the easiest way to start and we'll go there.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
City administrator update and announcements.
I don't have a lot. I want citizens to watch out for a water service line inventory. State is requiring us to check all of our lead lines and to make sure that they're not lead. So you'll get a flyer in your utility billing, and if you report on that, it just saves us from having to go into your home to check it out. But in the end, we have to check everybody's home for those pieces. Another along water lines, we're starting to replace more water meters. So citizens can expect us to be reaching out and replacing more of the meters and getting more of our electronic ones in. And we will have our second volunteer organization meeting at noon next Wednesday, April 10th. And we'll be hosting that again here.
What is that for?
It's kind of getting all the volunteer groups together
okay.
to try to figure out what everybody's doing and see how we can help each other out.
Got it.
I think that was brought up a couple of years ago,
Yeah.
even the chamber,
Yep.
some other individuals,
Yep.
because volunteers are dwindling.
We had a really good group the first go around here, so we'll see if we can duplicate that. Maybe make some progress in the volunteer world.
Okay.
Anything else, Neil?
That's all I have.
Tom, you have anything?
I do not.
Jeff? Sir. Looking for a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Have a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.